Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch, Tuesday, April 29, 2025. I'm finally going to get around to doing that video, expanding on my written post on my Facebook page. It's time to give my summation on what's happening on our planet and the power outages throughout regions of Europe. As I stated in that written post, some people have been too quick to jump to their own conclusions without thinking everything through, using some critical thinking, staying calm, and some to only satisfy their own overinflated egos. And when things don't go their way by their mathematical calculations, they become upset, they become salty and start swearing at people and so on. You know, big eyes, you know. So among with other suggestions is that there was an electromagnetic breach over the affected areas, or an opening in Earth's magnetic field allowing the solar winds to come in. Now, as I've said, we're undergoing a cyclical geomagnetic excursion which destabilizes and weakens our protective magnetic field. And during these events, excursions, the planet can develop multiple magnetic poles here and there all around our planet. And as I suggest, fluctuating weak areas on our planet, changing from one area to another as those multiple magnetic poles develop. This will also, this will allow the normal space weather environment, the solar winds to come in here and then there, but also increase ultraviolet radiation and continuing changes in our jet streams, and I'll show you in a moment. In fact, actually, no, I'm going to show you right now. So this is nullschool.net, the jet streams that I often show you. You notice this vortex developing offshore Portugal, which was one of the areas with the power failures. So very chaotic, very disorganized jet streams today. Now I'm going to show you something else. All right. Now we're talking about the British Isles. First of all, let me show you what's happening right now. Can you believe this, folks? Now, yes, I know there's news, they're talking about dimming the sun, etc. That's just the cover story for the reasoning why they're going to be doing this massive spraying. I have my understanding of what's going on, and this is what I'm trying to relay to you today. Look at this. Look at this. Off of Ireland. So that's what's happening today. Remember what I've been saying. In the British Isles, which is England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, there are 68 volcanoes there. Remember all those fires, some of which cannot be explained, including last winter of 2024 in Scotland, minus 18 degrees Celsius, large brush fires, one example. The substation fires, electromagnetic induction. Is this one of the areas over the planet with a substantiating weakening of the protective magnetic field? Now, I think that's all I'm going to say about that area. On the subject of the electromagnetic penetration causing these events, there are two emitters of electromagnetic radiation energies reaching us. It's not just from our sun, that which we see, Sol. Sol has a companion, as you know. I just happen to name it Sal, the evil twin sister. Almost all of these systems out there are either a binary 2 or trinary 3-star systems. And ours by many names, one of which is Herculobus, Herculobus, as named by the Chilean astronomer scientist Carlos Ferrada, who put in 59 years study, observation, research, calculation of Herculobus Planet X. As I am trying to piece together everything, the arrival of the intersection of the system, the binary system, both for my understanding and so that you may also have this understanding, and to show the gravitational and electromagnetic effects that it's going to have on our planet as well as the rest of the planet, specifically the inner planets of the solar system, and its effects on our core. Now, how much energy the highly charged particles are being absorbed by our planet depends on the following. It depends on the elliptical orbits of the other planets, specifically Jupiter, that absorbs this secondary electromagnetic energy, deflects some of it away from Earth, depending on the orbit of the rest of the planets. In relation to our orbit, and the larger one, of course, Jupiter, which right now is in a position to deflect some of that energy, but it's moving further away from Earth. I will also remind you on many of occasions why forecasted CMEs from the sun never reach us. That is why I don't get so overly excited about these solar flare CMEs from the sun, and they come up with the models, and it's going to reach Earth in this time, whatever. Many times, they don't show up. Nothing happens. Why? Because they're being deflected by Sal. Now, let me try and give you a visualization. So this is our ecliptic of our solar system. Angle it down so we can see the planets better from up top. Mars, Earth, Venus, etc. So this is our orbital plane of our planets. It is understood that the intersection of the binary system comes in from the bottom here, up through here, from the bottom, between the orbits of Earth and Mars. Now, it's not shown on this model, but Jupiter is way over here. So as the binary system approaches from the bottom, Jupiter is helping to absorb some of that electromagnetic energy until it moves too far away from Earth. I'm going to show you something else. One moment. Now I'm running it ahead in time. Play it again. I'm going to 2026. I've understood this for quite a while. So in the beginning of 2026, Jupiter will move out of this position, way over here, further away from Earth. It's no longer going to be absorbing the energy from the incoming binary system. All the other planets will be on the other side of the sun, leaving us alone to absorb more and more of that secondary energy. Here's Mars. So where are we? We're April. So this is where we are right now. So now we're going to take a look at one example of the large explosions on the backside of the sun. This is July 22, 2024. We have a full halo. Full halo CME. So I set that date, 2024, 22 July. So here is planet Earth. The backside of the sun will be here. And this is supposed to be the intersection point of the binary system coming in here. So this is just one example. I haven't finished doing my research on this. Now, before I go any further, it is understood or theorized that there is two large magmatic bodies or provinces inside our Earth. So this is the outer core of the planet where a magnetic field is generated from. This is one magmatic blob. This would be an old representation model. Here's another example. So the red being the magmatic provinces. Now you often hear me talk about magma or mantle plumes, which are anchored to the outer core of our planet, which extend up through the mantle, and they come to the underside of the lithosphere, to which the crust and the ocean floors sit upon. As these heat up and expand, what happens, it's called a condition called lithospheric melting, a thinning of the lithosphere. So this harder magma, or its heat, penetrates through the thinning of the lithosphere. Now, I have maintained for years now, quite a few years, that because of the outer core expansion from the induction of the increased charge particles coming in, that you're going to see this heat rising up, coming to the underside of the lithosphere. You see me do this a lot. This is a mantle plume anchored to the outer core. Mantle plume tail, mantle plume head can spread thousands of kilometers in diameter to the underside of the lithosphere. Continents, mountain ranges, volcanoes, thinner crust, ocean floors. I've been maintaining that we're going to see changes, heat, in order of where the crust is thinnest. First, the oceanic crusts, average 6 kilometers thick. Next, continental shelf. Third, coastal regions. Fourth, continental. We're going to start seeing this heat building up. I'm going to show you one example right now, which is really quite concerning. Here is our current sea surface temperatures. Indian Ocean, Arabian Ocean, Bay of Bengal. This has been expanding. Temperatures 31.1 degrees Celsius. This area here off of northwest Australia, this is where that tsunami boy goes into motion every once in a while. Off the coast of Mexico, Guatemala. Starting up around Panama region. This point here in the Gulf of Mexico is slowly starting to heat up. So does this suggest that one of the two magmatic provinces is swelling, expanding? So as the core continues to receive more and more of this highly charged particles from the secondary system coming in, these magmatic provinces and the mantle plumes are going to continue to swell up, to heat up, exerting its magmatic pressure underneath the lithosphere, underneath the crust in which we sit upon, resulting in more earthquakes, more volcanic eruptions, more fires, heating up the oceans, resulting in more hurricanes, cyclones, typhoons, and so on. Now let's go take a look at Mr. Carlos Ferrada. Carlos Ferrada was a Chilean astronomer scientist who did his calculations, research, observations on planet X, also in his language called Herculibus. Among his predictions, 3 areas of the planet are going to receive catastrophic earth changes, events, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. 1, Spain and the northern Mediterranean area will be a great catastrophic events, along with the area of Sumatra, West Java, and Borneo region, and the Asia-Pacific, and coastal Chile regions. Because of the approach of the comet-like planet X, Herculibus, which will eventually pass a mere 14 million kilometers away from Earth. To put that into perspective, the Sun is 150 million kilometers from Earth. He also very accurately predicted the catastrophic earthquake in 1939. As well as the Chilean earthquake in 1960, and again in 1985. He describes Herculibus as a red planet which travels on an elliptical orbit of a comet and has the great mass of a planet with a tail. So that's the electromagnetic connection to our core. There's also the gravitational effects. If you paid attention to the internet news, there's been some stories coming out explaining that the Earth's axis is shifting, is tilting. They had to come up with a cover story. Of course, this cover story this time is an excessive amount of groundwater extraction. The last one I just finished reading was caused by India extracting too much water from the aquifers, causing the axis of the Earth to tilt. On one hand, they say it's only a couple of centimeters a year. But in that article, they go on to say the catastrophic earth-changing events, the earthquakes, the volcanic eruptions, the changing in the jet streams, the weather events, etc. So they're telling us what is happening, but they have to give us a false cover story narrative. So they are telling us that Earth's axis is shifting. It's being pulled down. I'm going to show you one more thing. I've already done this once before. I'm going to do it again. This is planet Earth. This is the dark star. This is a magnet. This is the dark star, which is supposed to be coming in from the southern ecliptic. So what's going to happen as it draws closer and closer and closer? It's going to cause a geomagnetic excursion. Here's another theory of mine. Magnetic north, the North Pole, is moving faster than the south. Something is keeping the south magnetic pole from moving faster. It's trying to keep it in place around Antarctica. What could that be? Two opposite ends of a magnet. It's trying to keep it in place. Once again, something else. So here's a representation of Earth's protective magnetic field. So when the magnetic poles are more or less antipodal, we have neat, organized magnetic field lines enveloping the planet and coming back in through the north magnetic cusp. Magnetic South Pole, magnetic North Pole. However, because of the excursion, north has gone this way and south has gone this way. As I've said, you can develop multiple magnetic poles around our planet, destabilizing, breaking up, disorganizing the magnetic field lines, which, as I suspect, are resulting in pockets of weak areas where the solar winds penetrate that area. Let's say, for example, just an example, this is the area over Spain, Portugal, France, England, right here, as an example. Now, I'm throwing a lot of information and visualizations at you. It's all relevant. So this is the South Atlantic anomaly, an area of Earth's weakened magnetic field over South America, extending across the Atlantic into Western Africa. I believe this is an older model. Now, as I have suggested before, so the South Atlantic anomaly is here. If Earth's axis is going to tilt, or is tilting down this way, the South Atlantic anomaly does not tilt down with it. It would put this area here into the zone of the South Atlantic anomaly, becoming the Mid-Atlantic anomaly. Puerto Rico, power failure, power failure. Another thing, folks, as their intersection of the binary system approaches, what do you think it's going to do to the asteroid belt? You think it might force some of these out of their place? Now, it is understood that the intersection of the crossing of the binary system is every approximate 3,650 years. You don't have to be pinpoint specific, like 3,657 years or 54 years. You know what? Anything can slow its arrival time or speed it up. The average is 3,650 years. So lying in bed last night from my phone, I decided, okay, well, obviously there's going to be some gravitational electromagnetic effects on our planet and bad things are going to be happening, right? So I just simply kept on going back 3,650 years. Approximately. So 3,625 years ago was Santorini eruption, VEI 7. Add on another 36,050 years. 73,000 years ago, Kikei volcano, southern Japan. Extremely large volcanic eruption. 435 cubic miles of volcanic ash was ejected into the atmosphere, far bigger than Krakatoa, Tambora. Add on another 3,650 years. Intense climate change event. Younger Dryas period. Also believe a large asteroid impact event. Add on the figure again. 14,000 years ago. Superpowered solar storm. Miyake event. High radiation. Carbon levels fossilized in the tree stumps in the French Alps. You can keep on adding this figure, and you can find in Earth's geological history and climatic changes happen. I did that, and I kept on going back to 29,000 years ago. Every 3,650 years approximately. And as I do my heat checks on the planet, and as I showed you in Chad and Somalia, all of a sudden these volcanoes are starting to heat up. I do a geological survey. I take a look. Wow, the last time was 3,620 years ago. I'll look at Clear Lake Volcano in California starting to heat up. Oh, let's go do a check. When was the last time? 10,950 years ago. What was that? The Younger Dryas event. I don't think it's just one location every 3,600 years. I think it's multiple. And all these areas are showing signs again. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know how long this video is going to be when I splice everything together. They know what's happening. They know about the binary system coming in. They know about the state of our protective magnetic field. And they have to come up with all these cover stories. Cover stories like Klaus Schwab, quite a long time ago, stated that by 2025, there's going to be a large cyber attack on our grids and internet. Cover story. They know what's coming. They have to give a cover story. Oh, we need to chemtrail over England to cool the area down. Why only England? Why? Because that's one of the zones developing of weak magnetic field, resulting in increased muon saturation penetration through the crust and all those volcanoes throughout the British Isles. Those fires, electrical substations going boom. Cover stories. Don't be so distracted and consumed about trying to figure out, oh, yeah, it was a cyber attack. Oh, it was an atmospheric pressure system anomaly thing. Magnetic field breach, probably. And as we continue with the geomagnetic excursion caused by the dark star, it's only going to intensify. This also lines up with Scripture. Have a nice night.